Today we're talking about what the INFJ will never be, the cool kid. So most of us are adults now, so you might ask, why are we even talking about being the cool kid? But it's something that transcends into adulthood. It's something that we've known all our life, that we see those people that are considered like cool or in their clique, and they seem to have so much fun. That's the main thing. It's not like we say, oh, I would want to be like that because then I'm going to be happy. We've sort of tried to be part of those groups, but it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel like that's the path. But still, we see those people and we say they have something that we don't. They have fun, they enjoy their life, and what is wrong with me? This is a typical thing I see so many INFJs go through, and the longer you stay with this question, we actually spend our time with things that aren't moving us forward into the things that are actually going to make us happy. We're going to talk about this today in detail because it has everything to do with how our cognitive functions are set up. And once we understand the system behind it, it's much easier to go about this in a way that is beneficial to us. Before we get started, I want to remind you that bootcamp is starting really soon. So the INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp, we're doing this for 6 weeks. It's an amazing experience. And before that, we have a free masterclass, an INFJ Epic Life Masterclass. It's live here on YouTube. It's going to be August 7. You see the link in the description so you can set a reminder today. Believe it or not, the main reason why we look at people and think, oh, they seem to have so much fun in this social atmosphere of that's the leader, then there are people following that person. It's like a fun clique. And because we can absorb other people's emotional states, we see that people are having fun. They're not just pretending. And we very often think people have to be pretending because there's no way I have fun doing this. I don't want to follow somebody who does something that fits perfectly in this box. And I also don't want to put myself in a position where I want other people to follow me. I want every person to be their individualistic selves. And if we do this, then there is no way we can create this leadership position. So what do we do then? Most of us actually get stuck at this place because we don't know how to act. We see that people are having fun. We want to have fun as well. We want to feel like we're living that INFJ epic life, but it seems like we cannot do the same things other people are doing. And when we look at it from a cognitive perspective, it is, of course, because of our introverted intuition. It is also because we're introverts. And it's a combination of having FE as our second function, meaning we are aware of things happening. We are aware of how people feel in that state. Other types might also be introverts. They might do their own thing. They might be in their own little world, but they're not so aware of what they're missing out on, right? It's not about the action of being in a group. It's not about being the cool kid or belonging to that group. It's the satisfaction that everybody else seems to have from being in these social interactions. Other types, for example, an ENFJ, looks at it from a very different perspective. They live within the box. Very often, if you compare ENFJs and INFJs, this is one of the common things that is mentioned, that INFJs live to be outside of the box. That's our default state. The ENFJ, on the other hand, lives within that box and then expands it to their understanding. So they pick up where everybody feels like, oh, we have this common ground, FE, that's the world we're living in. And then through their second function, NI, they expand that, or they allow this to become more and more individualistic. So people with FE as their first function, as well as many other types, find themselves in this position of being an alpha, or being in a position where they set the tone when it comes to social interactions. They're alphas in many different scenarios. And I'm not talking about the alpha, how I've talked in the other video, which is, being the one with the vision in many tribes, how it is for wolves. We're not talking about that. We're talking about how in society the alpha type is defined. And beta, in comparison to that, right? The alpha has an idea, they set the tone, they create, and everybody else sort of flocks to that. Everybody else wants to have a part of that energy, and they also get energized through that dynamic. This is not the same as it is for us INFJs who can absorb this. We understand this, but we also don't want to be followers, and it's not even a choice. It's just how our mind works. We are set on, I'm outside of the box, that's how I think, and I want everyone every single person to be as individualistic as they possibly can. Looking at these alpha, beta, sigma types, right? If you look at it from that perspective, we INFJs are the sigma type. We're the ones who have their own vision, who have their own thing going on. We have something that we can implement, and we're totally okay with creating something where people are not following us as in, okay, that's my God, that's the person I want to emulate, that's the person I want to be. And we also don't really look at others as, okay, I need to attach myself to that person. None of these really make sense to us. And once we understand this, we finally stop trying to live how others are living. Because you might tell yourself, well, I'm completely individualistic, I don't need all of that, I don't need to pretend like I'm somebody else. The fact of the matter is, we're human beings. And as human beings, we all have the need for social inclusion. That's just the facts. And as long as we don't address this, as long as we don't want to admit to ourselves that the reason why we want to emulate that is because we want to be part of the group in some kind of way, even if it's us being in a group and looking at it from the outside, there is some kind of connection that we're looking for or that we try to create. And we see other people experiencing such a satisfaction when it comes to this need by following the typical alpha beta dynamic that of course we get sidetracked by this and we stay in this loop of, why is this not working for me? How can I change myself? It might not happen on a conscious level, but it is happening. So if you understand that this is never going to be your path because you're neither going to follow somebody and be satisfied by that, you're also not going to be somebody who wants other people to worship you in any kind of way. You actually start creating something new. You start creating a life that makes sense for you, where you get to inspire others, for example, or where you get to allow every single person to express as much of themselves as they want to, because you're subconsciously giving them permission to do that because you yourself are not hiding your identity anymore. There's so many things about ourselves that we hide from the outside. Sometimes we hide one aspect from this one group and a completely different one from this other group. The goal is to get to a point where you say, I don't need to talk to everybody about all my interests or all my beliefs, but I need every single person to be able to see those parts of me. I'm not hiding them anymore. See, it's on others if they want to see everything that we're about, if they want to look at what we're doing. But it's on us if we hide certain things so people don't even have the chance to judge us. And this is where your freedom comes from. When you go through this process and you tell yourself, this other thing, this alpha beta dynamic that works within a certain box, I'm never going to get satisfied by that. That works for different kind of people and it works perfectly. And there's no such thing as this is worse and what we're doing is better or the other way around. It's about understanding how you function, what makes sense to you, and how to use that to live an INFJ epic life. To feel like you're moving forward in life, you're growing, you're excited to start your day. And that's one of the things that will make the biggest difference ever. Understanding this concept once and for all, going that direction and knowing I'm going to say goodbye to this other thing. So I'm not even going to pretend like I fit into that box in any kind of way. I will stop hiding things about myself that I think people will judge me for. I'm not talking about some personal things that, are supposed to be private, but there's certain aspects of the way we're thinking, our personal beliefs, our strengths, things that we're afraid once we show them, people will not be able to put us into that box. It's not possible anymore. And it sometimes feels like such a big step. But once you've done it, it doesn't feel like this anymore. And then you start connecting with people in a real way. Because then you're connecting with everybody else who wants to be allowed to live completely outside of the box in their own way. That's why I'm always talking about the INFJ epic life on your terms. We connect through being different. And I'm not talking about, we INFJs are different. I'm talking about every single person, every single INFJ, each one of us is their own individualistic being. And we need to be allowed to express as much as possible of this individualistic self, although it doesn't fit the norm, although it's not part of being within that box. Every single person, also people who are not INFJs, can do this, but we need it. So be your best friend. Allow yourself to go that direction, and you will see how you start living in a way that you never thought possible. Remember to join the free masterclass August 7th, and if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch why the INFJ is first admired and then ghosted.